see, I just thought to actually give you an update on a little Cressida, because many of you who watched my videos before know that she was actually, I found her literally in the bushes, at the entrance to the actual park. Actually, she was left in a little cat box, and the cat box was basically open. It was just clearly obvious that somebody just left her over there. And I was passing by, and it was, I don't know, it was at around 9 o'clock at night, and I decided to take a walk to the shop. Quite unusual actually for me to take the walk to the shop at that time, for example. It was just an odd occasion, and there she was, just like literally at the entrance of this park, and I just can't help myself. I cannot help myself with animals. Like, I was always the same since I was a child. I was bringing home like spiders, like grasshoppers, you know, bugs, you know, you name it, you know. And basically it was just impossible for me to not to notice her, because as I was passing by, she just jumped, you know, literally. I mean, first I kind of sat down next to her. I was like, oh, look at this little kitty, you know. And then I just, you know, she just jumped on me, and she was just communicating to me so much. She was just so upset, clearly, you know, visibly. And my estimation is that she must have been at around 9 months old at the time. But I think that I was wrong, because I think that she was a little bit older, because she was already spayed. But anyway, so I decided to keep her. It was very difficult. I didn't know what to do. There was a man in the window, as I said in my previous video, and he was looking at me, and I looked at him, and he was smoking a cigarette, and I asked him, you know, does he knows who left this cat there? And he was like, no, I don't. But it was clearly obvious, you know, even he said, you know, that she was actually left, you know. And I basically took her into the, I couldn't help myself, you know. I already had at home like 2 dogs, which I sadly haven't got anymore. They died of an old age. Both of my Springer Spaniels, Leah and Jessie, they died of an old age, so I haven't got them anymore, sadly. But it was basically, I had 2 dogs and I had 2 cats already. And now the dogs were absolutely fine, but then the cats were like, you know, just a little bit weird, you know. The cats, they take a time to get used to it, you know. But anyway, so I decided, I didn't know what to do. As I sat down, you know, she basically jumped on me, and she was just talking to me. She was so expressive, you know. I could just feel her energy. I could feel that she was trying to say something to me. She was so upset, my lord. She was so upset like there is no tomorrow. And I, on another hand, couldn't help myself. So what I've done is I decided not to go to the shop. I decided to put her in the cat box and just take her home. You know, and I was looking at the man, and he was like, oh, well done, you know, bless you. You know, the man was telling me, you know, you're taking her in. She's not like a tiny little kitten, you know. If people see like a tiny little kitten, most likely they would be like, oh, she's so cute, I'm going to take her. But she was just already at around 9 months. That was my estimation, but she was a little bit older already, because anyway, so I will explain why I think that she was a little bit older. But anyway, so I decided to put her inside the cat box. She was so happy to go in. My God, she was so happy to go in. But then after that time, she would just absolutely scream so much if she would need to go into the cat box. If I need to take her in, you know, to the vet or anything like that, you know, she obviously needs to go inside this little cat box, you know, cat carrier. But it's like now she just doesn't want to go. And I think that she's so traumatized. But that time she was just so, yay, I just like, she was so happy, because probably, bless her, she thought that I'm gonna take her home to the people that left her there. But God knows what happened, you know. God knows what happened, you know. But she was basically just, I suppose she was meant to end up with me. So I decided to bring her home, and she was so happy to go inside that cat box. And my dogs, as I said, were absolutely fine. They were both elderly at the time. They were still alive. And my two cats, you know, they were like, oh God, you know, okay, Minnie is like a much older. So Minnie is just not really too much. But, you know, when it comes to my Coco, you know, Coco just takes time, and Coco didn't take it that well. And it's taking him time and time and time. I mean, they're not like, you know, fighting all the time or anything like that. But, you know, with Coco, it's just basically they're taking a longer time to get used to it, you know. Maybe I was, probably I didn't introduce them properly. Maybe I should have done it much slower, but then again, you know, at least she has a home, and now Coco and her, they get on, you know, but every now and then he's like, oh, you know, he gets like a little bit jealous, you know, and if she's around me too long, then he's like, you know, he needs to come straight away. He's just a little bit jealous, you know. But, you know, if it comes to fighting or anything like that, you know, every now and then it's a bizarre little burst, you know, but not that often, and it's nothing too bad. I mean, you know what the cats are like. It's just basically the cats, you know, they're just like that, you know. Sometimes they're stroppy with each other, sometimes they're great with each other. They're very expressive in many different ways. And I will tell you why I think that she was much younger. This is what I thought, you know, that she's like about 9 months old, this tiny little kitten. But now, then after that, the weird thing that happened with Cressida was that maybe some people don't like spaying the cat, but God, you know, I had a cat before, and the cat wasn't spayed, and it was just, I'm sorry, but it was like a complete nightmare. And that cat at the time wasn't well. She was born only with one kidney, and she couldn't take kittens, and the whole experience was just like absolutely terrible and dreadful, you know, both for me and the cat as well at the same time. So I really think that sometimes Mother Nature is like, oh gosh, you know, it's like, cat gets pregnant, and then while they're pregnant they can get pregnant again, type of thing. Or not while they're pregnant they can get pregnant again, but cat gets pregnant, and then when the cat gives birth, sometimes, you know, straight away after that they give birth, and they can mate so soon after that, and they can get pregnant almost immediately. And it's so harsh on a cat, you know. So the cat can be breastfeeding the kittens, and basically it's like at the same time, the cat basically like, while the cat is breastfeeding set of kittens, you know, the cat goes out and it can get pregnant again. So, my God, so while it's feeding these kittens with the breast milk, you know, the cat is like inside pregnant already. It's very harsh. It is very harsh the way it is, but then in a wilderness, and this is why the Mother Nature created them like that, I guess. In the wilderness, the kittens wouldn't survive like they would survive at home, because they're safe, they've got security and this and that. But in wilderness, they can get taken away, they can be eaten by all sorts of things. So I suppose that's why the Mother Nature has decided, you know, with the cats, you know, to get pregnant so easily and things like that. So this is why I'm sorry, but I am to spay the cat, you know, to neuter the cat. Some of you might not agree, but to me, this is the right thing to do. And I decided to take her to the vet. She was with me, she must have been with me like a few weeks or so, a month maybe. A month, I would say, I don't know, I did it pretty quickly. And I take her to the vet, and I'm like, can you just kind of, can I spay her, blah, 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 yes, you can, blah, blah, blah. And you know, the craziest thing ever happened, like the craziest thing ever, something like this never happened to me when it comes to the cats. I took her to get spayed, neutered. And the vet said to me, like, she was already shaven, you know, they opened her, terrible, you know, but then again, you know, they shaved her off, they opened that part of the body, they opened her, and it's like, the vet was like really confused, and I was like, what is going on? What's wrong? And the vet was like, she was already spayed. I was like, really? But she's only like a 9-month-old kitten. The vets didn't tell me, like, you know, what her exact age is or anything like that. This was just my estimation, purely based on her actual size, because she's very tiny. But then my Coco is quite big, and Minnie also is quite big. So in compared to them, she was really tiny. So it's like, you know, and sometimes cats, you know, they live for a long time. I mean, for a long time, they live 20, 25 years sometimes. You know, there have been cases. And yes, they do take a time to fill up, you know, to fill in, you know, they do take a time to grow, you know. In fact, after they're 9 or 10 years old, they start kind of growing and becoming mature, becoming bigger, you know, this is how it is. So maybe perhaps she's going to get bigger later. But anyway, so the vet, basically, they shaved her off, and she took me aside, and she was like, well, basically, she was spayed already, 100%, the vet said she was spayed already. Oh my God, poor little thing. So she was spayed already, and I had to put her through this thing, and I felt so bad, but I wouldn't know if I haven't done it, but I felt so bad. Honestly, I felt so bad. So she said, like, yeah, she was 100% spayed, you know, 100%, definitely. And I was like, okay. And then the vet also mentioned, you know, in that particular place where they shaved her off, while they were shaving her hair off, they've noticed that her hair was already shaved, kind of. They've noticed that she already had a little scar. And this is what it is, you see. She was already spayed, you see. So now, you know, a couple of years later, I'm like, you know, yeah, she's definitely been spayed for sure. But it's just incredible how the poor little thing had to go through this, you know, process of having an operation, like open her poor little thing, just to realize that she was already spayed, you know. My goodness. And but it's just something that I had to do, and if I haven't done it, then I wouldn't know. I mean, and but yeah, I felt pretty bad for my little Cressida, for sure. But then again, going back on her size, you see, this is why, you know, a couple of years later, she's still tiny. She's still small. She's so cute. She's like a really small. Maybe she looks quite tiny to me in compared to, as I said, to Coco and Minnie, because they're quite bigger cats. So maybe that's why, but I don't know. It's just like a couple of years later, she doesn't seem much bigger than that time when I got her. And considering the fact that she was already spayed, you know, because normally they get spayed, I think, at around 6 months. You see. So I don't know, 6 months or 8 or 9 months, you know, I don't know. I think probably that she must have been at around I would say like a maybe year plus something, a little bit older, I suppose, than 9 months. But it is just, she's just still tiny, but very cute and very adorable and very loving, you know. It is just basically, it was one of the best things that I could have possibly done, you know, to actually get Cressida. I would have found that very difficult. On another hand, you know, I know that she was kept out quite a lot as well, because she wants to go out badly. And this is what some people may not agree, but I have got like 2-floor place, you know, 2-floor house, which is like, it has got lots of space in for the cats to be in and to be active. But I know it's not the same thing as going out. But the problem, so I don't really let my cats to go out. They're indoor cats. Minnie doesn't really want to go out. She hates going out whatsoever. I mean, she's 16, 17 now. She absolutely hates going out. Coco is just wherever I am, Coco is there. So if I go into the garden, Coco is going to go into the garden. If I go to that room, Coco will go into that room. Coco goes wherever I go. It's so cute. But there is a garden that every time when I go into the garden, Coco goes inside the garden. Cressida comes inside the garden, and Minnie I bring in for just like about 10 to 15 minutes because she really hates it. Minnie really hates being in the garden, so she just hides herself somewhere underneath the plant, you know, she hates it. But so in the garden she's actually quite good, you know, and they're cats, they can go over, you know. And the reason why I'm so adamant to not to actually let them to go out It's because I live next to the ridiculously busy road. This road is so busy. It's one of the busiest roads where I live. It's like so busy. And I'm literally next to that road. So a cute little garden. And behind the garden is that busy road. And this is why I'm just so scared. You know, at the time that I was here, just within this time, there were like quite a few cats went missing. And that's another thing, like, my Lord, you know. So this is why I don't let my cats out. I let them out inside my garden when I'm in the garden, but that's fine. And she's been absolutely brilliant. I mean, Coco, he's like a dog. I call him, he comes, you know, he's just so obedient. It's ridiculous. He wouldn't jump over. She tried to jump over like Cressida tried to jump over the fence once, and I think she just learned, you know, like, no, because, oh, please don't, you know, there's like a road there, no way, you know. But then the second time, like quite a few months later, she went over the fence on the other side, you know, where the front of the house is, which is like a close, you know. It's not busy, it's fine, but I still, you know, there was still road on the other side, so it's still the same thing. So she went over, but she was absolutely fine. I just went over, I took her, you know, she was fine. But then these are the little steps that cats, you know, just learn at the same time, while you tell them, please don't, you know, don't know. But then at the same time, they learn from your own energy, from the way you are, the way you feel. They learn this and they absorb this energy and they respond to this energy, you know, later on by not doing this. So she's actually quite good. So yeah, so this is the thing. I know that she was an outdoor cat because she likes to be outside quite a lot, and I've noticed that she does eat a lot of grass, you know, when she's outside. When she goes to munch, you know, on that grass outside. So I just decided to get them like organic grass, you know, for the cats, so they can munch on it, because I think that she's missing probably certain vitamins and minerals that she used to get while she was outside. But yeah, I can tell that she was an outdoor cat, but sadly I can't let them to go out, you know. I don't judge other people what they do with their cats, you know what I mean. Like, if people feel safe, you know, to let their cats out, that's absolutely fine. But if I was somewhere at the beginning of the forest or in the middle of the forest, somewhere safe, no road, you know, it would have been a completely different story. But like this is just like, no, I just decide to basically I just decide to keep them indoors. I mean, she's fine, she's absolutely happy, it's brilliant, but it's just basically that it's just something that I think it's much safer for them to be indoors than actually go out as they please. Because if we lived in the different area, then it would have been a completely different thing. But yeah, she's just probably one of the best things that that I have possibly done. She's very cute, you know, she's very loving, she's very affectionate, you know, she's quite funny, you know, she gets on with the rest of the, you know, with Coco every now and then. It's like a bit of like, but it's more like from his side, you know, because he's been used to being the baby in the house, the baby of the house, and now suddenly Cressida comes, oh my god, it's another baby, you know. But yeah, she's fine. And then my worry was again whether she's gonna like maybe attack Minnie, because Minnie is like 16 or 17 now. I rescued her when she was about a few years old, so I'm not exactly certain of the age again, but she's adorable, she's absolutely adorable. But she's just very elderly now. She's acting very elderly as well. She sleeps a lot, she's quite unwell at the same time. And then I was worried, you know, that Cressida may be like, oh god, you know, what the situation is going to be with the cats, you know, as you know, with the cats are like, what the cats are like sometimes with each other. And but no, she was absolutely fine. She's very she was playing, she was trying to play with me, and it was so cute, you know, when they go on the side like in that weird way. It's so funny, it's really hilarious actually. So she's not attacking Minnie, or she's not being horrible to Minnie or anything like that, and this is really important to me at the same time. Come, Cressida, come, let me just try to get her. Come, sweetie. Hey, hey, my sweetie. She's just on the bed sleeping here. This is the spare room. Hey, sweetie. Yeah, she's very loving. She's very friendly. But of course, well, you see, Cressida, look at yourself there. She's very smart. She's very clever. You see, she's tiny. To me, she's small, but this is purely probably in comparison with the other two cats, you know. But she's very good. She was also very good with the dogs, with the two dogs, my gorgeous dogs that passed away now. She was also very good with them, to be quite honest. You know, she wasn't like too scared or anything like that. But, you know, she's very, very intelligent. She's very intelligent, and yeah, it's probably one of the best things I could have possibly done, you know, to be quite honest with you. So this is what I wanted to do, just like a little update on Cressida, because I did one of these videos, I don't know, it was like a couple of years ago when I got her. Yeah, literally, I think roughly a couple of years ago, yeah, when I got her, I did post a video about it. So I just decided to do a little update. But, you know, she's doing absolutely great, you know, very much so used to, you know, house life, and very much so great in the house trained and all that, you know, no problems with her whatsoever. Yeah, she's literally very adorable, and she brought so much fun and so much happiness into this house as well at the same time. So I just wanted to share a little update with you how our little Cressida is actually doing. Okay, thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.